Sup YouTube, it's your boy, Sly88 Fry here. Comfort of home this time. Let's do a brand new React video. I was actually intending on doing two of them yesterday to new videos that came out. One to Flash Gets, one to the Sonic the Hedgehog YouTube channel, but just never got around to it. I was busy. But today, I have to do React to this. The new AVGN episode. Angry Video Game Nerd. Let's go. This video isn't too long, so I can get to work right after this. Well, after uploading, monetizing, whatever.
Thanks for watching this episode of the and by celebrities like Snoop Dogg and Rich. Go to buyraycon.com/cinemassacre to get 15% off your Raycon purchase.
He's the angry video game nerd.
All right. Hey, stop.
What happens when you combine Cars with Armageddon? You get Carmageddon. Yeah, Carmageddon. Sounds like a joke somebody came up with in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But the real joke is that it actually got made into a game. Truth be told, Carmageddon was actually pretty well received when it was released for PC in '97. It's basically a vehicle combat game and was supposed to be a tie-in for the Death Race 2000 sequel, but the movie got shit-canned and the developers decided to just go ahead and make the game they wanted to make, license be damned. It did well enough to get a sequel, Carpocalypse Now, released the following year. The soundtrack included Carmageddon It by Def Leppard. No, that's not true. But I wish it was. It was popular enough to get a port on the Nintendo 64. It was to be published by Interplay, but before that could happen, Titus bought them out. And yes, it's the very same Titus that published Superman 64. In the interest of maximum profit, they rushed this game out as fast as possible, which resulted in one of the absolute worst games on the Nintendo 64. Imagine owning a video game company, and your claim to fame is having made two of the worst games on the N64. What an achievement. But let's talk about the game itself. There's a number of different modes you can play, including the headbutting mode.
What?
You know what? That's the best one. Watching that is much more fun than playing the game. But then again, so is playing Turd Pinata. The main mode is Carmageddon. It even has a story and takes place in the year 2026. Global warming gets so bad that the air toxins begin resurrecting the dead. Well, that's something to look forward to.
That would be terrifying.
The game has two racers to choose from, Max Damage and Diana.
Really?
Oh, boy.
Oh,
Max Damage is a bright red bald guy, and Diana looks like someone farted in her face. There's a few different methods to complete a level. You can go through any of the laps like a normal racing game, destroy all the other cars, or kill all the zombies on the map. Yes, zombies in a racing game.
That's so
the PC
weird.
version was known for killing humans and was very gory. Blood and limbs were splattering everywhere.
Wow.
But this version just has zombies dripping green ooze. It's kind of like Mortal Kombat on the Super Nintendo, how the blood was changed gray. In Germany, the zombies were swapped out for dinosaurs. Hey, kids like dinosaurs. It went from this to this.
The
Stages in this game include Beaver City, Beaver Country Quarry, or Beaver City again? Well, this game sure has an obsession with beavers. If you happen to go over a jump, you might do a stunt, and then a message scrolls across the screen that reads, Cunning Stunt Bonus. The first time I saw it, my brain mashed the words together, forcing dirty thoughts. Just like the Metallica live VHS tape, Cunning Stunts. True story. Back in the 90s, I was listening to the radio, one of the local rock stations. The DJ was talking about it, and he slipped up and said, stunning cunts. Then he tried to forget about it, but 25 years later, I still remember.
Stunning cunts.
This game was given a mature...
I hope that that guy actually is watching this video, or watches this video at some point, or he knows some people, and then those people watch this and mention it, and that would be just absolutely incredible.
rating. But between all the beaver, Titus, and cunning stunt talk, it's only inspired me to be as immature as possible. The courses are all hopelessly generic, with featureless, but 25 years later, I still remember. This game was given a mature rating, but between all the beaver, Titus, and cunning stunt talk, it's only inspired me to be as immature as possible. The courses are all hopelessly generic, with featureless, uninspired, bland voids. I doubt the developers were at fault, and the issues were more likely because Titus didn't give the team enough time to make something playable. But what can you really expect of a company called Titus? All right, enough of that joke.
Yeah.
You want to know the real joke? The controls. This is a fucking joke, and a sick, demented one. The car barely turns. Half the time you're crashing or getting stuck up
terrible.
walls. This is compounded by the drunken camera angles. While you're driving, it'll shift randomly and jerk you around. It's like some assholes in the passenger seat just yanking the steering wheel every few seconds. Just jerking and yanking, jerking and yanking. The camera even gets hung up on the walls when the race starts. What the hell is it doing? Power-ups are scattered around the level, but good luck making use of them. They're usually fucking dumb like stick insect zombies. Night of the what the living fuck? There's also a power-up that gives the zombies big stupid heads, but it's so far away, by the time you actually find any zombies, the power-up wears off. And I really wanted to see the goddamn big stupid heads. The absolute worst thing about the game is how bad the sense of direction is. Take a good game like Mario Kart, for example. It always lets you know which way you should be headed. And if you go the wrong way, it tells you. With Carmageddon 64, no such luck. If you happen to go off course just a little bit, which will definitely happen, you're fucked. Yes, there are arrows which are supposed to clue you in, but they don't show up often enough, so you just drive into the middle of nowhere. You'll be traveling around aimlessly until you eventually come to a checkpoint. It's only then that they tell you you're doing something wrong. The very moment you go in the wrong direction, an arrow should instantly appear to let you know. How about a nice fine message that says, "Turn around, asshole"? We all appreciate being called an asshole by these assholes. And the checkpoints are really particular. Even when you think you went past them, they might not even count it. It seems like they had a bunch of generic 3D models of towns and decide to randomly place barriers to make it resemble a track. If your car falls off the track, you'll get stuck in a timeout void for way longer than it should take. Lakitu would have you out of there in a few seconds, but I guess if this game was as good as Mario Kart, Nintendo would have a problem. It's reminiscent of the overly drawn-out loading time from Castlevania Symphony of the Night when you die. Just get me back to the goddamn game!
He's probably not watching, but a guy who I used to call my best friend, he's not my friend now. I mean, to be honest, all he'd have to do is apologize for how he had treated me the last several times we hung out, and we'd actually be friends again. He's otherwise a good person, but he just won't do it. He doesn't even acknowledge what he did. But anyway, moving on from that, we had talked about AVGN for a bit back in the early 2010s, like in, I don't know, 2011 or something, and he didn't like that AVGN said was being pissed, was hating Symphony of the Night, but the thing is, I recall that he didn't hate the game. He just pointed out some flaws, like the game over screen. Like, if you love something, to truly love it, you also got to point out its flaws too. You can't just say that it's absolute perfection. Otherwise, you're just sucking up and you're not contributing at all, really. He actually liked the game. So if you go back to the Castlevania-thon from 2009 for what he did for Halloween, when he did 4 different videos, all talking about different Castlevania games from the 80s and 90s, he actually did like Symphony of the Night. He did. He actually did. He just point out flaws like how the game over screen takes too long and how much of a tease it was to be like super powerful at the beginning and then have your powers taken away, and then have all your upgrades taken away and you're weak as fuck. All right, let's continue.
All right, we're going. Oh shit! Great, now I'm just sliding around upside down. Awesome. How do I flip back over?
What?
I'm like a turtle that can't get off his back.
Oh no. What the fuck?
Okay, so hitting the L button brings your car back. Luckily, I figured that out. Otherwise, I would have slid upside down through the entire track.
Okay. I'm not sure how many of you watching are familiar with the N64 or its controller. We enjoyed the controller back then, but looking back at it, it's probably one of the worst designed controllers ever. Like, a prong on the left with a D-pad and an L button on the shoulder, a prong in the middle with a control stick and a start button above it, and beneath the prong, the Z button. That's cool. Prong on the right with the A and B buttons. Actually, the A and B buttons are between the middle and right prong, actually. But so then the prong on the right has the C buttons, which were later replaced by the C stick on the GameCube. But it has the C buttons and the R button. So it's almost like a controller made for somebody with 3 hands. The vast majority of games, you don't have any use for the D-pad on the left or that L button. You're holding the middle prong and the right prong because you're controlling with the joystick, shooting with the Z button, or doing something else with it, depending on the game you're playing. Jumping with A, punching with B, whatever. C buttons to change the camera angle, or sidestep in GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, or aim, or whatever. R button, also useful. Because you're using the middle and the right. So most of the time you're not using you don't have your hand on the left prong. So I hope he points this out. Maybe he will, but because of the design of the N64 controller, having the L button do something that's this important is, I think, a flaw. It shouldn't be the L button, at all. No. That's insane. The only time the L button can ever be really useful are in those few games where you don't even use the joystick, where you would hold the left prong because you're going to control with a D-pad and hold the right prong, and you don't even use the joystick. The WCW NWO games, actually, you moved your wrestler with the D-pad. I don't know why they chose that. They could have easily done it with the joystick, but you moved with the D-pad, and the only time you ever used the joystick was to use the special move. Kirby 64, the Crystal Shards, is the best example of a game that used the D-pad instead of the joystick, because it's a side-scrolling game anyways, so you don't really need to use the joystick when you're only moving when you're not moving in 3 dimensions. So yeah, that's another game that uses the D-pad. But I'm assuming this game probably uses the joystick, so the fact that you'd actually have to move your hand, let go of the middle prong and bring your hand up there to press L, is definitely a flaw. They were not thinking clearly with this. I guess they were just hoping you would use all of the controller, but honestly, the N64 controller, its major flaw is that you can't really use the whole controller. You simply just can't do it. It just doesn't work that way. You have to use the middle on games that require the joystick. You have to use the middle and right prong. On games that require the D-pad, you have to use the left and right prong. You can't use both the control stick and the D-pad. You just simply can't do it. It doesn't. Otherwise, you can't hold the left and middle prong. If you did that, you're unable to push the A and B buttons. Well, I mean, maybe you can, but it'd be awkward. And you wouldn't be able to press the C buttons at all, or the R button or anything. So I know I've been going on long enough explaining this in detail, but my goodness, they're making you press the L button. That is stupid. I'm going to mention another game, the Rush series. I don't know if the first San Francisco Rush came out for N64. I played it once in an arcade, but I played Rush 2 on the N64. Very fun game. I also played, my first experience with Rush 2049 wasn't in the arcade. It was actually on the N64, which had a really cool battle mode that I really miss, actually, but it had really cool weapons and stuff. Rush 2049, my own experience with it now is playing it in different arcades that are nearby, like in Scandia and Epicenter. But, yeah, in those games, when you crash your car, it explodes and all that stuff, and you could wait for the timer to run out, and then it'll place you back on the track. It's like 3 seconds, I think. Or you could actually press, I think it's C down, and then you'll instantly be put back on the track. But the difference is you won't be sent as far ahead from the crash compared to just waiting for the 3 seconds. But yeah, it makes sense. You're controlling with the joystick and the other buttons on the right, so it makes sense that the C down or C up or whichever button it is would be the one that would put you back on the track. Make it the L button. It's just ridiculous. Like, you're like this. Like stupid.
This quarry level is by far the worst. I had to race through it 4 fucking times before I got used to the layout. I kept missing the checkpoints and drove around aimlessly until the time ran out. It's too easy to get lost on this level because most of it is just an open area with 0 directions on where to go. I think the idea, with all seriousness, what they were actually trying to do was make the levels intentionally boring so that you'll be more likely to focus on just running over the zombies. While that may work in the superior PC version, the N64 port just falls flat, and then it goes through the flatness into a glitchy, unfinished pile of polygonal poo.
Idiots.
So, okay, maybe I can get behind a game where you run over zombies, but the number count of how many zombies to run over is way too high. By the time you get half the amount of kills you need, the time will have already expired. Not to mention, it's hard as shit to actually drive into them. Half the time, I'm slowly maneuvering, trying to line them up just to miss. You want to play a game where you make slow K-turns all day? There's more action in a driver's license test. Driver's license test, the game. That would be more fun. The whole draw of the game is the fact that you can fool around.
You know, to add to that, I know he's probably referencing the behind the wheel test, the last test you take before you get your driver's license, but I think even the part where you just do the written test and just write down answers to questions would be more fun than this. Wouldn't that be sad?
And get to run over people, but it's damn near impossible, so it doesn't even have that going for it. The zombies move slower than soft-serve shit, but still, I can barely hit them. Why in your right mind would you ever spend money on this abomination? Out of the 400 fucking racing games on the N64, this is easily the worst. When it comes to quality control, this game is on par with Superman 64. Well, at least the other racers move, unlike Big Rigs. But when that's the best thing you can say about the game is that it's slightly better than Big Rigs, well then you know you're playing a 12-car pile-up of flaming fucking bullshit.
Hey, you fucking kids! It's Mr. Riggs! I'm the official spokesperson for the best game ever, Big Rigs! And if you disagree, I don't know what your fucking problem is, so maybe you'd consider the second best game, Carmageddon 64. The controls are 64 times more responsive, so I know you'll love it. You'll be begging for it. You'll be screaming, dude, where's my Carmageddon? Drive up walls, slide upside down, and explore the great endless void. Give gravity the finger, the middle one. Power-ups have little in-game effect to remind you the real power is in your heart and soul. K-turn your way to vehicular supremacy. Just wait for it. Yep, there it is. Run through zombies and fucking dinosaurs. Show them you're the King Tyrannosaur. Make them eat shit. Carmageddon 64, the second best game in the history of the world. Get your copy today, or go to hell!
Oh, that's too good. That's too good. Wow. Well, that was an amazing video. Holy crap, I was talking a long time about the damn N64 controller, wasn't I? But, yeah, that's... My God, what a terrible video game, but what an awesome AVGN episode. To say that this game is barely better than Big Rigs is sad, because if you haven't, see the Big Rigs episode of AVGN. I saw it when it first came out back in like 2014, I think, and I've seen it multiple times since. It's so funny, and clearly it's a game that looks like it barely was being developed, like barely any work was done. Like, there was hardly anything working in that game. No, what's it called? No hit detection. Like, you could drive through everything and all that stuff, and racing didn't matter. It was just such a lazy attempt at a game. It was like one person worked on it for maybe like, I don't know, like a half hour, and then just decide, you know what, I'm done. I'm going to release this game to the public, and somehow it was released to the public and sold in stores. Like, okay. So, yeah, to say that this game from the N64 is just only a little better than a game that literally didn't even try, that is sad. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Click that bell icon to add me notifications. And keep on watching. You don't have to just watch my React videos. I also got a whole lot of gaming videos. Actually, my channel started in 2008, and it was all just gaming videos. And I also started secondary channels I wish I never started, because I wish I just uploaded those videos to this channel, because this is the only channel that actually has done anything. And now it's monetized. But I also have my classics from my secondary channels uploaded into a compilation. So check out that compilation when you get the chance. And I'm also working on my Sonic movie review. I possibly would have had it done by now, but I'm not going to get into detail. Just something really bad happened recently in my life, and I just haven't been in the mood to do video editing at all. React videos I can do, because it's a lot less effort than editing a big product like my Sonic movie review. Soon enough, I'm going to have the first draft upload where it's just me talking, but I'll try to do the fully edited complete review as soon as I can as well. I actually made a lot of progress last time I worked on it, and I'm actually pretty close to done. So the next time I work do editing on the video, it should either be done that time or the next day I do it, depending on how busy I am working. It's kind of hard to balance my schedule. Anyways, keep watching my channel, keep it monetized, and so that I'll have more motivation to keep making more of these videos. I may consider starting a Patreon if for people who have like specific requests for me to upload, because I don't expect them to get views here or something. But anyway, thank you so much. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and click that bell icon to add me notifications. Also, feel free to check out my Twitch, Twitter, Facebook. You'll find them linked to my YouTube channel. At least I think you will. Anyways, that'll do it.